Okay. So maybe just give us a brief overview of what artificial intelligence is all about so that I can now go to asking you some of the questions we'll have. But before we start, let me just share my screen briefly. There's some data I saw today that I think I wanted us to look at first before we go into today. So basically, I was looking at the change of work. You know, if you know, Upwork is where you go on to hire people to do things for you. So I just came about this research today. So I was watching an Israeli professor, Roy Zanata. He was doing a presentation I just mentioned, and I decided to look up the information. And what it shows is the number of jobs, the drop in some jobs because of AI and the jobs that have increased. So it means he's saying that in the past 84 days, that there has been there's percentage increase in number of requests for graphic design jobs. There's been an increase in requests for web designing jobs. There's been some increase in requests for business development jobs. But there has been a massive drop in jobs requiring writing. There has been a massive drop in jobs requiring social media marketing. There has been an increase in demand in jobs requiring video editing and production. There's been a massive drop in jobs requiring customer service. Also massive drop in jobs that has to do with translation. There's increase in accounting, increase in sales, increase in market development, increase in market research. So it means that AI is affecting our job. And we need to understand what this is all about. So with that background, I want Prof to take it over from here. Okay. He's a Nigerian, no, don't mind his Oibolu.
Yeah, so I managed to figure out my video. And so what I would actually like to do is to share my screen and just share a very short presentation just to guide the conversation, as you mentioned. If I think I should be able to do that. Okay, I think you need to enable screen sharing. But if that doesn't work, we can still continue.
You can share now.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it. Others, everybody, can you see his screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay.
Yes.
But I don't know, are you seeing just the presentation or you're seeing every other thing?
We are seeing your presentation.
The presentation is clear.
Okay. Okay, so the presentation, I just put up a couple of slides just to make our conversation a little bit more guided. And thanks, Ifeanyi, for jumping into those job descriptions and changing in job demands. And clearly AI is influencing the type of job that people are looking for versus what they can do themselves or get assistance in doing. Briefly speaking, if we ask what is AI, AI is simply artificial intelligence and is a branch of computer science that focuses on building machine systems that can perform or automate tasks. And the key thing there is it requires human intelligence. Of course, at the early stages, there are many things that we encountered either in our personal lives or in works that can be considered hybrid early phases of AI. Something as simple as your email spam, where you had your Yahoo email or your Gmail being able to filter out what is not email that you would like to see by way of either by way of unsolicited email or even fraud at the extreme. So the email spam goes through some training. As it sees email, it reads different keywords, and it learns what is really associated with potentially spam email. And as the more email it sees, the more it understands what can be classified as spam. And then, like the Gmail is pretty efficient in identifying what is a spam email and just dumping it in your spam, because making sure that you don't access emails that might be dangerous, either to your computer or any other thing, financial system. So that's the early evolution of AI in our everyday life. And of course, the technology of AI is adopted to mimic human intelligence, essentially meaning that the human intelligence is still considered as superior to machine intelligence, at least as of today. Just for reference, you have the key concepts of AI being around machine learning, neural language processing. Machine learning really encompasses different models. Natural language processing allows the machine to be able to interpret human language. A neural network is really allowing it to leverage some layers of brain intelligence of humans. And the computer vision obviously couples the vision part into the AI, thereby making it multimodal, as the case may be. I think you asked specific questions, Ifeanyi, but as far as the future of AI in Africa is concerned, I mean, these key points will really, at the end of it, I'll just leave this on the screen and so that we can continue our conversation here, because it captures a lot of the things that are relevant for us. Many people, when we talk about AI, they would naturally just switch into the cautionary mode, which is AI coming to replace us? Is AI coming to replace our work? Is AI coming to replace what we do? AI actually creates higher value jobs. So you might be able to have your pay tripled simply because you have been able to upscale or maximize the use of AI in doing your job. And for those who are entrepreneurs, you can leverage AI to move into different sectors that you never considered possible in the past, and be able to increase the productivity within your business. And ultimately, as an economy, it will help to manage the unemployment rather than even create unemployment, especially as we have Nigeria now. If you think about it, AI adoption in agriculture can significantly increase the productivity within the agro space. And I'm sure that a lot of people will be more interested in having more productive food supply rather than worrying about how people are potentially going to be displaced from the farms. So I'll stop here for now, and I can show more items as the discussions continue.
Okay. That was quite some insightful session, Prof. So basically, I would say for most of us here, when it comes to AI, in fact, for me itself, like this morning, I was asking myself, do I even stop doing some of these AI reading some of these things, because the more I watch it, the more I'm asking myself, is there future for us in the new AI world? So my first question is, for workers in Africa now, what is AI supposed to mean to us?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. I mean, I take it to imply that we are not asking about specific sector. So workers in Africa obviously covers multiple sectors, right? From healthcare to education to manufacturing, and AI for worker can be I mean the applicability or the maturity of AI for a worker in Africa can be sector dependent. For instance, actually, I have within our African domain, I took a few countries: Nigeria, I think South Africa, maybe Egypt, and I did some data stick into AI adoption in the different sectors. And what I found is that the financial sector is the most mature in Africa within AI adoption space. However, if you looked at Nigeria specifically and looked at the employment, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
We
you.
can hear you, sir. We can hear you, sir. Keep on.
So if you look, and
Can some people just mute their speakers, please?
Prof, just hold on. Please, can we mute our mic so that we can hear him?
Let the hosts mute everybody.
Mute everybody, sir, please.
Mr. Ifeanyi, please, you can mute everybody.
Yeah, Prof, go on.
Prof needs to unmute, please.
hello.
Yeah, Prof.
Fine, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
We can hear you,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
We can't see you again. It's only me that is showing. Keep working. It's part of what AI will do for us. Keep working. Let me try and figure out this.
Mr. Ifeanyi, let him share his screen.
Yeah, share your screen. Hello, Prof.
Okay. Even the application.
Sorry for the. I think we're having some network challenges.
It's okay.
Prof, are you still here?
Or Mr. Ifeanyi, maybe you should make him an host as well, so that he can have control.
Oh, say, how can AI rectify this? Prof, can you hear us?
Okay. I'm assuming you can hear me now. I'm going to try and share my screen. Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Okay.
See my presentation, right?
Yeah. Go on.
Okay. So, back to the question you asked, and I'll take an example of someone who is in human resource, for instance. So,
Prof, maybe you should change position. Your network is cracking.
specifically would require a lot of knowledge of the
Prof, your network is.
Hello, Prof.
We can't hear you. Hello. Prof, can you hear us?
Is Saudi Arabia network bad as Nigeria?
We appreciate our country. Oh.
It's not just Nigeria.
Prof is not in an AI techie environment.
My sister, not true. I appreciate my country. Oh.
I appreciate my country.
We talk
I
about
beg.
Nigeria.
It's not this bad.
Saudi Arabia itself. They see the
Yes,
struggle.
sir. Ah. It's not this bad, oh.
Hello.
Hello,
Okay.
yeah.
You can hear me now, right?
Yes, we can hear you. Can
Yes,
share.
Prof.
So, pardon me. I think my network is moving ahead of technology.
Sir, please
Maybe you should
start
change
from,
position.
please start from the beginning, please. We were talking about HR. Please start from the beginning.
Yeah. I've moved to a different location. I think it has to do with my home network.
Okay.
So, sorry, you wanted me to start from.
From HR, you were saying something about HR, but that was when we lost you. Please start from again,
okay.
please.
Okay. So, I'm looking at as an example of someone working in HR where there is a lot of dependency on understanding the company manuals for reference to be able to give any form of advice related to HR. The AI, especially the generative AI, can be coupled with some kind of assistance depending on the company to be able to both use mine through your company manuals and specific
By mine, what do you mean by mine?
individual.
I think don't assume that we're at your level. Oh. Just break it down. Is there mine?
Okay. So essentially, let's make an example of somebody coming to the HR manager or HR staff to ask a question, or maybe an email asking a question about maybe leave or whatever benefit that the person is requesting. And that person might be at a particular stage in his or her career, at a particular level in his or her career, that have specific benefits or conditions associated with them, with the specific experience level and position. It could even be something related to leave. So the different AI, the generative AIs like the ChatGPT or the Claude or the Gemini, they have assistants that they can be built or tagged into the company. But then this is not necessarily what you will be doing yourself, but it requires that the company work to deliver this. So essentially, if your company adopts this, it does not necessarily mean that the person in HR becomes redundant. Rather, it implies that you are more efficient and more accurate in delivering your specific roles. Using HR as an example, the questions that will come across to you, instead of having to read through 50 manuals or making sure you memorize different reference manuals or sections, and sometimes making mistake, these AI assistants will help you to optimize your job. It really delivers more efficiency to you rather than making you worried that you're going to lose your job. So, but the key word here being that we need to be able to be in line, or at least try to understand the trend, follow with the trend, and not be able to make ourselves relevant in that AI evolution.
With that, with this point you just made, so I just want to now ask you, what skill sets should Nigerian workers start to develop based on this? So in our different sphere now, based on what AI is that is coming and what you just said, because like what you just said last, I was speaking with an MD who just fired her HR manager last month because she suddenly realized that what would take her HR manager about 24 hours to deliver, that Gemini could do it for her in less than 5 minutes. So the question now is, what skills should somebody, maybe her HR now, should have developed to help her secure her job? Or maybe somebody who is an engineer, for instance. How would an engineer, what skills should a Nigerian engineer develop so that I don't wake up one day as an engineer in Shell and realize that I'm no longer needed because AI is taking over my job?
Yeah, so that's another fantastic question. I think I have a slide where I try to point to some of this. If I can find it. So you can still see my slide, I guess?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes.
Okay, so as an engineer, I'll come here. I'll answer your question in two different phases, actually. This slide here is meant to show some of the evolving areas in the field of data science and artificial intelligence that definitely translates to higher paying jobs and even, transition into a different sector if you wanted to fully transition. So there are jobs related to data science, and data science does not require that you become a mathematician. There are different sectors of data science, moving from just data analyst to data scientist, and maybe to developing a development engineer. And machine learning engineer is another level of skill that one might want to build. And these, in context, depending on the area of specialization that you already, or your discipline, you might think that these are very difficult skills to acquire, but they're actually not. And you have the cybersecurity, because everything really boils, cybersecurity is really at the core of everything, because the more we move towards the AI space, the more we rely on the web to be able to interconnect, and a lot of very sensitive data start to become available to a multitude of people. So cybersecurity becomes even more critical. And as far as a Nigerian space is concerned, one can actually start leveraging earnings outside Nigeria with these skills. Because just like you mentioned, Ifani, when you searched some of the jobs that
MTL 300.
some of
Sorry about that. Continue. Let me mute their listen. Continue.
yeah, so your observation in some of the different jobs that have become a little bit of less in demand from, let's say, Fiverr or some of the pay-as-you-go kind of websites, you'll start to realize that with advancement or training in some AI-related skills, even a non-petroleum engineer or a non-mathematician or a non-engineer at all can even make a very good income using the skills that they have built and earn in different currencies while still working in Nigeria, for instance. Now, when it comes to the HR person that you mentioned, I think the full story about the HR manager you mentioned that was fired, I think if we dissect that story fully, it will become clear that the story goes beyond being able to deliver the job, because what you find is there is different levels of being able to deliver the job. There is in some of the HR spaces we have in Nigeria, our minimum standard is pretty low, so some don't even care at all because there is nobody asking very difficult questions. However, for anybody who is determined to deliver a certain reasonable minimum standard, it is very easy for an employer to see that the chatbot does not replace the HR manager. As an example, if you wanted to, a few days ago, I wanted to ask some questions on an investment platform. Of course, they will start the conversation using a chatbot. Chatbot meaning just like automated responses from the system. But the only thing that does is to go through the first phase of directing you to the right section of people that will answer your question. So, and you start to appreciate that the very advanced businesses do understand that even with AI, that is not replacing the human intervention, and keeping in mind that AI requires a lot of learning from humans to be able to continue to become better. So as a HR person, at a minimum, you need to be able to understand the language of AI, the trend, and of course, part of it requires joining a community, which anybody that is on this meeting probably is already doing that.
That's wonderful. I think the next question I want to ask, because we are running out of time, and I know your time is precious. In terms of mental health, how just myself, watching the AI stuff, it's starting to even affect me, and I'm even asking myself, oh boy, by 2025, will I still have a job, or will I be in the village trying to do land sellers? So how does an average Nigerian now handle the mental stress that this new AI is putting on all of us? And Prof, please, because this might go up in the next 5 minutes, please, can we reactivate the line so that we can just take like 10 more minutes for others to ask their question, if it's okay by you?
Yeah, certainly.
So please, when this thing signs off, everybody, let's just sign back in so that during the second phase, people can ask your own questions. So my own thing now is, how can we handle the mental health aspect? There's also a doctor of pharmacy here. John Obona, are you still here? I think he has some questions for you. I also think there's also another professor from one of the schools who is also here, who might have some questions for you. So please, let's do mental health first. Then we can now, if he signs us off, everybody just log back in. So I will take it back.
Yeah, as far as yeah, that's a very fantastic question actually, but it's really not different from any other how any other thing can affect our mental health. The bigger picture here is that I thought the LCM of the whole conversation is that we are very afraid of what we do not understand or what we don't. The less you understand, the more fear you have towards something in every sector, whether it's by way of some of us who have not been to other parts of Nigeria, that we were not to any other part of Nigeria apart from where they were born, and they have some kind of apathy, or if you talk about those areas of Nigeria, they probably have mental breakdown. So AI does the same to you now, simply because it's still evolving. Actually, it's not that new anymore. We can't say it's still evolving. The direction is clear. It's clearer now versus 10 years ago that it is going to be part of us. So, but we have to really admit that we have to treat AI as a collaborator rather than a replacement. So it's just like the example I just given you, and I will give you another example in our oil and gas space. When we are doing our drilling is one of the most risky part of the oil and gas process, and some of the processes require a lot of human intervention. So, but with AI, some of these processes have been automated. If anybody here understands the process of drilling, things as simple as or as complex as adjusting mud density, which allows the drilling column to remain pressured enough so that you don't have any unwanted gas coming to you. So those little processes have been automated to the extent that the safety associated with drilling now has drastically increased. I don't know how the last time, I mean, we still have, I think we had some blowout issues in Nigeria not too long ago, but the detail of it will tell you that it's more of carelessness than anything. And some of those processes can actually be improved using the AI. So if we, from a Nigerian worker perspective, it is natural for you to feel a little bit concerned that AI would have negative impact on you. But I guess that's why we are here. And if you're here today, it means that you should be less concerned now, because you're already taking the needed steps to make sure that you close the gap between what you know about AI yesterday and what you want to know about AI and how it's going to affect you. The more you know, the more you start to appreciate how you can collaborate with AI, and also the more you start to understand what to do in terms of how to close your skills and make yourself more relevant to your job, which automatically translates to having a more balanced mental health situation.
Okay. I think before this thing times out, like I said, if it times out, please, can we also join in back? Prof, I also noticed that you've not gone through your slides, so that maybe you can continue more on your slides, so that if it times out, we'll now know it's question time. Is that okay by you?
Yes, and I think most of it we've already talked about, but I can jump here, which talks about the opportunities here. And because, of course, we have different